I take that serious because I just know how detrimental it is when anybody says something negative. So I want to make sure that we put enough positive in them. So when those negative situations happen, somebody does something that has harmed them, they can remember the positive words. Hello everyone, we are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to episode 6.
Yeah, we're going to continue this conversation about love languages. Last time we spoke about one of the main 5, which is physical touch. We were telling some stories about Jerusalem, about Chrissy, and about Abby. And, just want to make the point that there's, just to kind of drill this home, we gave a bunch of examples as to how we strategically fill their love tank. It's really just mostly being super aware and having a strong decision between both you and I that, our goal is to keep the kids' love tanks full so they can operate in confidence, right? So between you and I, we're monitoring, are we as a team, doesn't have to be one or the other, it has to be, doesn't have to be both of us all the time, but one or the other is keeping their love tank full. And one of the things I want to just mention real quick is you'll be able to tell if someone's love tank is getting low, like in particular with like the physical touch one. I mean, how does Drew start acting sometimes when his love tank is low? Yeah,
no, he definitely just starts acting out, kind of being a little, ornery, and at times then makes his sisters, have to start, filling them for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wrestling with him more, going to play sports with him more, go do things that make him feel like he's getting that physical touch that he needs, and he doesn't feel understood until he gets it.
He does, and he starts getting kind of ornery about it, because they're not really, like, it's not their job necessarily to fill it, and they're not equipped, and so he just kind of starts pushing harder, and next thing you know, he's almost trying to get attention by almost
misbehaving. He misbehaves and doesn't live up to our standards, and therefore then it causes him to get into trouble when he really doesn't behave that way.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, if I'm out of town, it seems like, he's just pushing more with everything, and we realize that it's not just that he's trying to challenge mom more than dad necessarily. It's more, I give him a lot of physical touch all day, mostly because of the boy thing, right? Yeah. He's the only boy in the house, so we're wrestling all the time. We are, even if it's just little, like every time we walk past each other, we're punching each other in the arm. I'm putting him in a headlock. I'm sticking his face in my armpit and telling him how much he likes it. And we just do stuff. Jackie just shakes her head and goes by. I'm like, it's boy stuff, And we're always doing this stuff. So when I'm gone, it's not that he's really starting to become more rebellious just because I'm gone. It's just that his love tank naturally depletes quicker because there's such a norm of me filling it with just doing those kind of things all the time. So it's just something that we became aware of, right?
Well, and we realized quickly doing those things, sticking a child's nose in your armpit, you wrestling with them, is really reserved only for Drews, because the other girls don't feel loved when you do that.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same in the girls for some reason.
They really don't enjoy it, and that's not their love language. So we found out quickly that's a boy thing, is what we did. But the next one we wanted to hit on, because the next one's just as important too, is words of affirmation. Yeah. And I really like this one because it is so important. We all know this, how important it is to watch our words. Words are so important. We want to speak truth, not anything but truth. We can't just forget how important it is, even from the word of God, that our words are powerful and they matter.
Right.
And what we say, not only to our children, but in our household, matters. And so words of affirmation, I feel like, are one of those things that you don't want to just kind of blow it off and say, oh, I told you did great today. Words of affirmation are taking the time to really think of words that really would impact the person that has that as their love language. And we have 2 children, actually, that have words of affirmation. It's their second one, but it means a lot to them. And so some of the things about words of affirmation I think that are so important is that anytime you can affirm a child, it will breed confidence. It will bring them feeling like they can handle almost anybody else's comments to them if they feel like we've put enough of the good words in them right at home.
Yeah.
And I know it's, hard because we send our kids out in this world and other kids can be mean. It's not an easy time to be raising our children. And children come home and they are hurt. I've had many children come home and say, so-and-so said this to me. So-and-so excluded me and told me this is why I'm excluded. So-and-so looked at me and said these words to me. And, I need to look at him and be like, but what does God say about you?
Right.
What do we say about you?
Yeah.
What do you say about you? Because it's going to happen all the way up until adulthood. People say things to me and it does hurt. I'm not going to pretend like it's not, but you got to come home and you got to get back into whose you really are and who you really are going to listen to.
Yeah.
And so when we don't speak good words over our children, they naturally start questioning themselves.
Yeah, it's like the love tank in this one for words of affirmation. The positive, proactive words that we put into our kids that build them up fill this love tank. And it can be simple little things, but still you're affirming them and they're waiting to be noticed. They're waiting to hear, they want it. I mean, it's more than even just giving them a thumbs up or just saying, or just like waving at them. They need to hear specifically, like, why do you think they were awesome? But on the other end, if they, like Jackie was just referencing, if they get the negative affirmation, they get people tearing them down, it literally is like a drain on their tank, right? It actually lowers them and they get empty way quicker because of that. That's why there needs to be so much of the right voices in your kids. We'll get in this another episode about how to protect these kind of things and from all the atmospheres that are around our children today, because a lot of them are negative, whether it's media, whether it's, school systems, whether it's just the playground, whatever it may be, but it's really important. But, as a parent, I think it's so vital that if one of your kids' words, love languages, affirmations, you have to intentionally plan to make sure that every time you notice them doing things well, that you actually say something about it. You don't just feel it. You don't just grin. You don't just have a warm fuzzy inside of you. You don't just, proud of you. You don't just wink at them. You have to actually say something to them, right?
Well, and I think, specifically what I do for our kids is I'll go up to them and I'll tell them, Bella, you know what I love about you? Mm-hmm. And she'll sit there with these big eyes, even at 14, and be like,
she'll pause. Like she freezes in a good way. And it's like, can't wait to hear this.
I'm going to hear what mom had. And I'll say, I love the way you always take the time to help your siblings with everything they ask you to help you with. You always slow down. You're so peaceful. And you do it with such grace. And I just so appreciate about you. And she will look at me because these aren't just words that I say to every other kid all the time. They're specific words about something I saw her do that I want to give her credit for and show love to her in a way that she so enjoys hearing. And the more I do it, the more they peacefully know to slow down and listen for it. I mean, sometimes maybe it is even just calling them. Maybe I'm traveling at the time and I'll call them and I know from whoever's watching them or whatever's going on, that they're really helping out.
Yeah.
Are they really going above and beyond?
Yeah.
Are they really, demonstrating a level that's superior?
Yeah.
And I want them to know I see everything that you're doing. But what we don't do with words of affirmation is we don't just make stuff up.
Right. No, we don't affirm something that's not real.
Yes.
You did a really horrible job on something, but hey, good job, honey. We don't make that kind of stuff up. It's got to be legit. Because we want to affirm things that actually are affirmable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think with this one specifically, it's one of those ones that you have to slow down for, like you said. Mostly because we're all running 100 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. And if you're a person that is desperately waiting for somebody to speak your love language, which is words of affirmation, and they don't do it for so long because they're so busy, it can feel like you're not seen or that you're not loved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kid who's doing something and saying, "Did you notice?" But they don't want to hear just, of course, you're always good at something like that. Of course, you're always great at that. It's like, no, like they're like, can you tell me why? Can you remind me? I know you've told me before, but can you tell me again? I literally will watch Bella. It's Bella's secondary love language, but it's strong for her.
Mm-hmm,
and I will literally watch her when you or I give her any kind of positive words, and it's very intentional and it's very specific. I watch her. She literally looks like a different person afterwards. Like she carries herself different. She walks away with little, pep in her step. And, you can just see this feeling of fullness in her. It's really interesting.
Well, and because we are their primary person who speaks to them every single day, we're their biggest voice in their life, our words carry so much.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it that way because we want to make sure they understand, again, who they are.
Yeah.
The outside world will quickly come in and steal that from you
Yeah.
if you don't. And that goes for everything. Social media, kids today are on social media way too much. They are hearing, learning, and unfortunately absorbing too much from people that do not have their best interest and do not want them to thrive and actually want to knock them down. And so we have to be able to encourage them at a level that allows them to play at a higher place.
Yeah.
And I take that serious because I just know how detrimental it is when anybody says something negative, that stays with you even longer than if somebody said something positive. So I want to make sure that we put enough positive in them. So when those negative situations happen, somebody does something that has harmed them, they can remember the positive words.
And we have a couple of specific strategies even in our family that really help with this category, I think. And one of them, we'll talk about team meetings that we do weekly at some point because it's been a real important part of what keeps our family in tune with our values and our principles and reinforces them. But typically at every team meeting, we always have people have an opportunity to try to edify others, each other. And so by doing this, it's great because the kids are like, hey, Bruce will say, I want to edify Chrissy for XYZ. She did amazing at this. I watched her do this. Hey, I want to edify Ellie because she's been so proactive in helping with laundry and everything else this week. And it was awesome. Nobody even had to ask her. And you watch everybody just get kind of filled up. But it's great because now it's not just you and I filling their love tanks. We've taught the kids how to help fill each other's love tanks also. We even do it during prayer time now where we have a thing we do. I was
literally going to give the example.
Oh,
yeah.
Were you?
Go for it.
No, I was just going to say, we all get in a circle at the end of the night and we all hold hands because remember, we're 8 of us. Plus, our dog Molly's always jumping up like she's a person too. It's so funny.
She's physical touch. She's physical touch.
For sure. Yeah. She literally jumps up and puts her hands with our hands like she's
praying with us. Huh?
Yeah. But we have whoever's turn it is to pray that night, stand in the middle of our circle, and they give a bold, powerful prayer. And then at the end of it, we each of us individually, one at a time, puts our hand on the person and says something that we just love about them or we appreciate about them or we respect about them. And every night they all do it, even Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, we
Hunter's
teach our
4,
kids young
right?
How important it is to speak good words over each other. And of course, after we do that, it rolls into physical touch because we all do this big group hug with like a washing machine type thing where we're kind of all
call it a car wash. And we all
wash.
just still are holding hands and we just kind of sway back and forth really quickly and the person in the middle just gets bounced around the circle really aggressively.
Yes. And
we
will get into it again in the future, but one of the things I started when the kids were just babies and I brought them home is speaking words over them.
Yeah.
And today, because the kids can repeat the words that I speak over them every single night.
Yeah.
I'd be rocking them and nursing them and changing them. And I'd say these words to them. In fact, some of them have them now imprinted on blankets and stuff like that. And they speak words with me because they know the power of the word. How important it is to affirm goodness in your life.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to share what the words are?
Actually, I'm going to let the kids come on one time.
Oh, okay.
And I'll let Hunter...
so we'll do that down the road.
Yeah, we'll do that down the road. But one of the times when we interview the kids, they want to chat about some of the things that help them feel confident and secure in our own family.
Yeah.
And one of them are the words that have been spoken over them for some of them now 14 years.
Yeah.
And so we'll discuss that.
So just kind of wrapping up this words of affirmation one, we're gonna show you guys. First of all, we really recommend you guys get this book for yourself, and you study it in context with a couple of things. One, using the tools in there to understand what love tank, love languages are, seeing all the examples they give about each one specifically. There's a great assessment area that helps you evaluate what your kids' love languages are. And one of my favorite parts of the book is if, there's 2 that seems like a kid has both of them, it gives you questions to ask them that can determine which one is the primary one. It's almost like, would you rather go on a walk and have your hand held, or would you rather sit and have mom tell you all the things you did right over dinner, right? And if they choose one or the other, and it kind of tells which one's stronger. But that one was really helpful to me because there was a couple, the kids seemed like they had kind of almost like even, but it wasn't even. And it does help. But the other thing about the book too, just so you guys know, whenever we recommend a book, it doesn't necessarily mean we agree with everything in the book personally, okay? And so, grocery store approach, you guys take from what you can. There's some things in there about discipline that we wouldn't do because it doesn't line up with, what we've read in the Word. And, a few other little things about how if you're showing affection, your kid's, a teenager and or your son's a teenager and you give him a hug in public and he's a teenager, you might embarrass him too much or something. It's all like, okay, but our kids, they understand these topics, so they know why we do it. So in our life, that doesn't ever happen. Nobody gets embarrassed in our family because it's just who we are. In fact, our family does a lot of things that probably somebody would think would be embarrassing in another family, but that's because they don't have all of these consistent foundational things built in. Our family likes being different. Our family enjoys being hugged in public. They know why we're doing it, right?
Well, I can't think of a time that I leave with any kids that all of them still don't want to hold my hand. Every time I'm walking through a grocery store or I'm out about doing anything, or that they don't want to come up and discuss things with me or hear my opinion. Like, they are very much wanting to be affectionate in public because they understand the world is not where they're trying to fit in all the time.
Sure.
They're super happy with the family unit they have.
Right. So words of affirmation.
It's a good one. Number 2. I like that.
All right. See you next time. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. And we have great news. You get more of us. You can expect new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. So be sure to consistently tune in with us and enjoy our show. See you next time.